Hello, good morning. May the 1st has finally come, and whilst I'm not sat here with Queen of the May today, in case you haven't heard about this, I have talked about it, but just in case, Queen of the May is absolutely fabulous. She's here, but she's not framed because we're in lockdown and isolation. We can't get her framed, so she's going to be a belated Queen of the May this year, but she's well worth waiting for. But today I have two really gorgeous samplers to release and share with you. The first one I'm going to share with you is a Bristol Orphanage sampler, and this sampler has been made available for reproduction by Claudia Dutcher-Kitzler of Dutch Treat Designs. Claudia has an amazing collection of Bristol Orphanage samplers, and she is the leading expert on this genre of samplers. And Claudia very graciously allowed me to reproduce this sampler. I first saw the original sampler last summer when Claudia came to stay with me, and I just fell in love with the sampler. She's called Mary 395 1869, and you might think, well, that's a little bit of an odd name for a sampler. Well, the little girl, she didn't identify herself by a surname. She identified herself by her bed number, Mary 395, and she stitched the sampler in 1869. Now, Mary's sampler is very typical of a Bristol Orphanage sampler. You've got the rows of alphabets and numerals at the top. But what I really loved about her sampler was, rather than long rows of border patterns, she put in bite-sized border patterns throughout the sampler, which made her very interesting to chart and very interesting to stitch as well. This model was stitched by Linda Clues, and Linda said that she got so much joy out of working on this sampler. Linda named the cow Daisy, and there are a lot of animals in this sampler. You have a swan, a sweet little mouse, you have a cookie cockerel, a parrot, a little butterfly, and there are just and there's a little dog and a lion, but there's just so much in this sampler. When you study her, the more you look, the more you see. I love this little row of Christmas trees, the little house, the boats, and I thought this was rather lovely with the hearts above. This at first glance looks like a darning section, but it's actually worked in cross stitch. The only stitch you need for this sampler is cross stitch over 2, so the sampler can be worked on linen or Ada. A very, very pretty sampler. Now, Linda stitched the model on her favourite linen with her favourite thread, which is Sycamore Seed Pod from Legacy Linen. Now that's a very high count fabric. If you wanted to stitch that on a lower count fabric, Corn Tassel from Legacy Linen in 37 count would be a great choice, or Weeks Dye Works Swigart based Parchment is another very good colour for a Bristol sampler. Now, because you're only using one colour, we haven't given spool quantities or skein quantities. What we've done, we've given the floss usage in meterage, so that you can order hanks if you wish, or you can just order your skeins and your spools. Hanks of silks work out very economically, so if you've been deterred from stitching with silk because of the cost, you will actually find that a hank of silk gives you so much better value. Now, on my website, Mary is now available, and you will see some photographs of various different shades of red, hanks of them, and you will see spools of them. There are so many beautiful shades of red for you to choose from, and I've just shown you some of my favourite ones. I'm going to be very interested to see what people do use to stitch Mary. When we released Harriet, Marcia stitched her Harriet with the most gorgeous shade of raspberry, and Robert chose variegated antique black for his Harriet. And you know, it's great to have some fun with these samplers. I'm sure the little girls in the orphanage, if they had a choice of colour, we would have seen them in a rainbow of colours, but unfortunately the little girls predominantly only had access to red threads. We do see Bristol Orphanage samplers with coloured threads, but that's a whole different subject, which we cover in Harriet Salt's booklet. Anyway, with Mary, because she identified herself with a bed number, we couldn't actually trace Mary with certainty, but Claudia, working with the Mueller organisation, went through the records and found the most likely Mary to have stitched the sampler. So within the booklet we tell the story of that Mary. Claudia also writes a foreword to the booklet, and we also talk about George Mueller in the booklet as well. The sampler has been graphed on, I think it's 9 squares to the inch, so she's very kind on the eye, this booklet to work from. And the booklet comes with a bookmark that you can use as a label for the back of your sampler when she's complete, and you can fill out your details so that that's recorded for prosperity. Anyway, you can order Mary now from our website, and while she's only just come and we're still madly packing, she was delayed by the printers because everything is a nightmare in this country to get done under lockdown. Then she was delayed in transit, but she's here now. We're busy packing. She will be shipping to distributors today, so stores will be able to place orders with Hoffman's and Yarn Tree, and you'll be able to place orders with your stores as well, and also on our website if you would like to buy the sampler from us. So that's our look at Mary. So let's have a look at the second sampler. The second sampler we're releasing today is the beautiful Jane Fiddes. Now, Jane was due to be taught as a workshop at the end of May, but unfortunately the workshop had to be cancelled because of the pandemic. Now, I've had countless emails and messages from needleworkers who were due to attend the workshop, and they were so disappointed the workshops couldn't be rescheduled. I was too. But you know, we can still enjoy the sampler, and now everybody can enjoy the sampler, not just those who were able to get on the workshop. So Jane is a sampler that I thoroughly enjoyed every single stitch that I made as I was stitching the model. The sampler bursts with colour, and in fact the sampler bursts out of its border. The little girl crams so much in here that she couldn't contain herself. I love the little dog and the little cat as well. I think that's so cute. Jane stitched her sampler in 1835, and we believe that she is a Scottish sampler, although on the back of the original there was a framing label that was from Ireland. So it's possible, just possible, she might be an Irish sampler, or maybe Jane married and ended up in Ireland. We just don't know. The sampler's frame looked in keeping with the period, so I suspect it was the original frame. But That's a little bit of a mystery about the girl. I think we can be fairly confident to say that she's a Scottish sampler. Now, let's have a look about Jane. There are 20 different colours used in this sampler. She was stitched with Auvert Soie d'Alger, but in the booklet we provide conversions for DMC and for Auvert Soie 103. She was stitched on Weeks Dye Works straw, but she would also look lovely in cocoa from Weeks Dye Works as well. I think that colour would work very, very well. But whatever colour you choose, she's going to look really, really lovely. How could she not, with those beautiful colours? Just so alive, this sampler. Now, the stitches that Jane used was predominantly cross stitch over 2. There is a little bit of over 1 just on this dog. She uses satin stitch, a tiny little bit of stem stitch. She uses plait stitch, 4-sided stitch, Algerian eyelets, double running stitch, and turkey work. And this turkey work, now I can touch this because I stitched it. I love stroking it. It's just like velvet. The ply on that is wonderful. And all these stitches were going to be taught in the workshop, but the booklet comes with excellent stitch diagrams so that you can work those stitches from the booklet. Now, the sampler is rated as suitable for intermediate and advanced stitchers, but even a confident beginner, it's not beyond you. If you're prepared to practice the stitches from the stitch diagrams, for everybody, you know, what we put into something is what we get out of it, and if we put practice in, we will master those stitches. Jane's booklet comes with 3 pages of information, the stitch diagrams. She's very clearly charted and everything's annotated throughout the booklet. You have your centrefold spread and you have your thread legend, and she comes with her bookmark with her threads on and the label that you can complete for the back of your sampler. So Jane is available now to order from our website. As with Mary, I'm not able to ship immediately because I am still packing, but I will start to ship booklets out to customers who buy from my website as quickly as I can. Here they are, our May 1st releases, Mary and Jane. I hope you enjoy them. We've certainly enjoyed making them available for you. So until the next time, stay safe, stay well, and bye-bye.